She stepped into first class with quiet poise, her tailored navy blazer crisp against the soft leather seat that waited for her. Her name was Judge Evelyn Rodas, though no one on the plane seemed to recognize her. She moved with the kind of dignity that doesn't need to announce itself, shoulders back, eyes calm, presence steady. In her lap, she held a black folder filled with notes, final revisions for a keynote speech she was due to give the following morning. It was a speech about justice, the cost of silence, and the necessity of dignity even when it's denied. Outside, the boarding process continued as usual. Inside, Evelyn pressed the call button. She hadn't had a moment to hydrate since the morning rush, and her throat burned slightly. She waited patiently, her gaze resting on the back of the seat ahead. The flight attendant approached with practiced grace. Her name tag read Melissa Carver. Her blonde curls were perfectly arranged, her smile stiff and hollow. Melissa didn't offer a greeting. She didn't ask what Evelyn needed. She just stared. Evelyn, ever composed, asked softly, "May I please have a bottle of water?" Melissa folded her arms. "Water service hasn't started yet." "I understand," Evelyn replied gently. "It's just my throat is dry, that's all." Melissa's tone sharpened as her voice grew louder. "I said, we haven't started yet. You'll need to wait until we're in the air." Heads turned. The sudden shift in tone had sliced through the soft murmur of first class like a razor. Evelyn felt the change instantly, not just in sound, but in perception. The man beside her pretended to read, but his shoulders stiffened. "I didn't mean to be difficult," she said softly. Melissa said nothing. She turned and walked away. Not one passenger spoke. No one intervened. Evelyn didn't expect them to. She simply reached into her purse, retrieved her phone, and sent a message, "Denied water." Loudly. Unjustified. Alert Thomas. Thomas Langston wasn't just anyone. He was the CEO of the airline, and more importantly, a man who knew Evelyn personally. She hadn't pulled rank. She hadn't even raised her voice. But her message landed with the weight of truth. Back in the galley, Melissa sighed. "What's wrong?" asked Rachel, a younger attendant arranging the beverage trays. Melissa scoffed. "Passenger in one, already demanding water like she owns the place." Rachel blinked. Did she ask rudely? It's not what she said. It's the way she sat there like she expected special treatment. Rachel didn't respond immediately. She'd seen Melissa handle certain passengers with less patience before. Still, she kept her thoughts to herself. In first class, Evelyn's phone buzzed. "Thomas, flight number. Tell me everything." She responded quickly. 747 to Boston. Denied water. Loud tone. Public. Staying calm. "Thomas, thank you. Seat tights." Melissa returned to first class 20 minutes later with a drink card. She served champagne and sparkling water with exaggerated politeness. When she reached Evelyn's row, her tone changed. "Would you like something to drink?" she asked without eye contact. Evelyn looked at the bottles lined plainly on the tray. "Still no water?" she asked. Melissa hesitated. "Of course. I meant to offer earlier." She poured it with a shaky hand and moved on. Back in the galley, the in-flight phone rang. Melissa answered. The captain's voice came through. "Melissa, cockpit. Come forward." She stiffened. "Now." "Yes. Now." Inside the cockpit, a secure video screen was already active. On the screen sat Thomas Langston. "Melissa Carver," the captain said, "please explain what happened with passenger 1A. She asked for water before we started. I followed procedure." Thomas's voice came cold and firm. "Is it also procedure to raise your voice at a passenger over a basic courtesy?" "I didn't raise my voice. She's a federal judge," Thomas said. "And more importantly, a woman deserving of respect. You failed her." Melissa opened her mouth, but said nothing. "You will apologize," Thomas continued, clearly, publicly. "And when this flight lands, you'll report directly to my office." The screen went black. Melissa returned to the galley, white-faced and rattled. A few rows away, Evelyn took a sip of water. Calm, silent, watching. Minutes later, Melissa approached her row again. "Judge Rodas," she said quietly, "I want to apologize. I misjudged the situation and handled it poorly. Evelyn looked up. You didn't misjudge the situation. You misjudged me. Melissa winced. I asked for water, Evelyn continued, and you made a decision about who I was based on how I looked. Other passengers were now watching openly. The cabin was quiet. I've flown this airline for 15 years, Evelyn said. First class, business, economy. I've seen how you treat people when you think no one is watching. Melissa tried to speak, but Evelyn raised her hand. I'm not interested in rehearsed lines. What you did wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a choice. Melissa backed away, speechless. Later, Evelyn's phone buzzed again. Thomas, board has been notified. Policy review starts this week. She won't forget this moment, and neither will they. As the flight descended, a message came to the captain, Gate 16. Priority disembark for 1A. CEO meeting at JetBridge. Media present. Be ready. Passengers remained frozen in their seats. The woman who had been ignored earlier now carried the gravity of the entire plane. When the aircraft landed, Evelyn was escorted out first. 2 officers flanked the exit. Thomas Langston stood waiting beside a black sedan. He nodded. Welcome home. She stepped off without a word. Back inside the plane, Melissa was called forward. MS. Carver, a senior manager said. Step off. Now. Melissa complied. Rachel watched silently as she left. The lounge was full. No privacy. No saving face. That night, Evelyn sat by her window. Her assistant called. They're asking if you'll give a statement, she said. No, Evelyn Diplaïve. Let the silence sit. At her apartment, Melissa sat alone. Her inbox buzzed with messages. She ignored them all. She stared at a blank piece of paper. Finally, she began to write. I failed you. Not out of ignorance, but instinct. I saw what I expected, not who you were. I taught others it was okay to dismiss someone like you. I lost my job, yes. But worse, I've lost who I thought I was. She folded the letter. The next morning, Evelyn received it. She read it, paused, and filed it beside a letter from her father and a wrongful eviction case she'd once overturned. Not because she forgave, but because it mattered. Weeks passed. A new training module was created, Flight 747, Ethics and Equity. Melissa never flew again, but she spoke to new staff, quietly, honestly. I used to think being fair meant being firm, she told them. Now, I know it means seeing people. Completely. Evelyn continued her work. Her docket. Her rulings. But something in her gaze had changed. A young maintenance worker once whispered to her, "They skipped me during service. Twice. I didn't say anything." "You remember it," she said. He nodded. That means it mattered. 6 months later, Flight 747 had long disappeared from headlines. But at a legal conference, Evelyn stood at a podium. When I asked for water, she began, I wasn't trying to make history. I was thirsty. She paused. What happened next revealed who was willing to see me and who wasn't. Silence. That flight didn't make me stronger. It just proved I didn't have to yell to be heard. I just had to stay. She stepped down. The room stood. Not for the title. For the truth.